What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego. A storm is coming. Conor McGregor, the rematch is here. Poirier versus McGregor 2, only on ESPN Plus. Use my link in the description. UFC 257. I'll see you at the fights.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Wow, bad news for Devin Haney. He just can't seem to get one of the top names at lightweight, and he's trying. We're going to talk about that, the WBC, this whole fiasco. Make sure you smash the like button. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to my channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. We're going to jump right into the mix. Appreciate you guys, 2021. Let's make this a great year. It's lit. So, boxing reporter Michael Benson, he posted this. This is an excerpt from Sirius XM where Devin Haney has some things to say. Devin Haney on Mauricio Suleiman saying Teofimo Lopez is undisputed despite him being the WBC champion. He says one thing to one interviewer, another thing to another interviewer. He said one thing to me and one thing to Teofimo. Why don't we just make the fight? End quote. I love this. Shout out to my dude Raheem. He said black fighters are always getting screwed over. Somebody talking about Donna Stevenson who's retired. But that is precisely it. Now, the thing you have to admire and love about Devin Haney is, first of all, he's getting money. That's one thing we know. He's been getting money. Look at the watch. You know, you can see the drip. He got bread. He got bread. I mean, these pictures will show you a little indication of that. So I don't think anyone has ever denied that Devin Haney, he got cash, you know. But the thing, look, speak of the devil. Nobody could deny that Devin Haney is getting his money. But the thing you have to respect and admire is, although he's getting money, you see, look, he got money on the floorboard. Okay, Dev, right? The thing is, despite getting the money, he still wants to showcase his skills and show out of this new next gen what he talking about, and that he ready, and that he's ready for anybody, and that he's the best, right? I love what he just said in this interview, right? He says Mauricio Suleiman, the WBC, they're saying one thing, this to me, to this to the interviewer. The last sentence says it all. And I'll highlight it for you. Why don't we just make the fight? Devin Haney is owed a lot of respect. Sure, he doesn't have all the resume names that he needs, but he's still young. But we know why. See, people in boxing like to play dumb. They like to play dumb. They want to play games, but you can't play with a real one. I'm from the Bay, bruh. So you can't play. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest. You can't play with a real one. You know, I used to skip recess because I don't like to play. So we're going to get down to the nitty gritty. Now, the thing is this. Boxing fans always, what happens is all these moves and shifts are made, and oftentimes they negatively impact African-American black fighters who are out there trying to get it. You've seen Devin Haney. He was calling out Lomachenko. Like, sound like he wanted it. Lomachenko, instead of being the two-time gold medalist that he is and saying, oh, I'm going to shut this kid up. Devin Haney, he ain't really, you don't even really hear Lomachenko even mention Devin Haney like that, right? He just did an interview with Snow Queen LA, and he said, my ideal fight is Gervonta Tank Davis, a guy who only fought at lightweight one time with Gamboa, and then he dropped back down in weight to 130. So why does Lomachenko want to fight Tank more than he want to fight a guy he should have already fought and became a franchise champion to avoid, right? You can't say nobody knows him, because if nobody knows him, where are you getting this money from? He must be doing something right? So I love this because Devin Haney, a lot of people in the world 2021, we gonna fix boxing. Trust me. My channel's gonna lead the charge like I always do. I'm a trendsetter, never been better. I get cheddar like I got a vendetta. We gonna shape this boxing game up. And if you ain't with it, get left, right? Devin Haney is making it about what it's supposed to be about. Teofimo, Ryan Garcia, Gervonta Davis, Devin Haney, every fighter in boxing, the reason we know them today is because boxing. It's not like one of them is like Mickey Rourke and they had a successful acting career and then they get into boxing. All the people I just named, we know them because of boxing. This beautiful sport, the sweet science, this has afforded them opportunities and they stuck with it. Whoever got them involved in boxing and they stayed with it, and now they're making a living in this game. Devin Haney is not only trying to challenge himself, but he's making it about what it should be about. Boxing. This is, again, the reason we know any of these guys, because of their efforts and dedication to the sport of boxing. So he's saying, Suleiman's telling me this, Suleiman's telling them that, telling another interviewer that, but why don't we just make the fight? That's what it should be about, just actually making the fight. You know, who cares about the politics? We know the WBC has confused the whole boxing game and, you know, done all these weird things, but there's an easy solution here. People don't want to actually admit the obvious, the elephant in the room. People are acting like, oh, what's done is done. It's too late. It's not too late. Even though the WBC decided to do all these weird things with the franchise champion, it ain't never too late, you know? It's never too late. Better late than never, but never late is better. It's never too late. There's an easy solution. And look, this is Devin Haney, what he posted. Devin Haney says, oh boy, Teofimo capping in the franchise witness protection program, and Ryan Garcia just joined him. I'm ready to fight in April. Hashtag real champion. And he has a dinner plate and the mad emoji. And I like that because you notice on my channel, what do I call it? The witness protection program. And that's exactly what the franchise champion is, right? So you see Devin Haney feeling the same way and using the same verbiage as me. Devin Haney also said, they say everything but won't fight me next. Hashtag still the boogeyman. Again, Devin Haney is the person who is making it about what this should be about. See, you could tell there's so many agendas floating around in boxing. When it comes to Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, for example, you have all the old media who are pushing for that fight when Errol Spence is the A side. Terrence Crawford doesn't want to succumb and admit that he's the B side. So there's politics involved there. However, Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia, for example, there shouldn't be any politics. They're both aligned with the zone, right? One's with Eddie Hearn, one's with Golden Boy. Those two have worked together, right? Jaime Munguia is a Golden Boy fighter. Triple G is an Eddie Hearn fighter. And they're talking about making that fight next, among other fights that they've worked together. So it's obvious that it's more so an issue of, do they want to make the fight, right? This is also what Devin Haney was told by Ryan Garcia. You guys will see it on the screen. Ryan Garcia says, belts don't mean anything nowadays. I could take somebody off the street, and if I play it politically correct, I'll make them a champion. People know who are the best fighters. Devin Haney needs to fight Teofimo Lopez, and I'll fight the winner. This is what Ryan Garcia is saying. What part of the game is this? This looks like a backdoor out. Ryan Garcia, listen, if he fights Tank, whatever. Do I think he's ready? No. Mikey Garcia said the same thing. But it's a big fight. But here's the thing. What if this is all a ruse and they're saying that he might fight Tank Davis? If Ryan Garcia does not fight Tank Davis, then he absolutely needs to fight Devin the Dream Haney. And if it's not one of those two people, it's going to look extremely bad for Golden Boy. It's going to look really bad. Hey, I guess if you're fighting Tank next, you know, everybody's going after Tank and it's a money fight, so whatever. But it's ironic that you have the fighters. You see this often where the fighters will say and play almost like PR people and matchmakers, and they're telling Ryan Garcia is telling Devin Haney who he should fight. But the WBC said the winner of his fight with Luke Campbell was the mandatory for Devin Haney. And Devin Haney, as I've been mentioning throughout this video, is they say everything but won't fight me next. Hashtag still the boogeyman. Now, the thing we have to actually assess as real boxing fans is people say, oh, Devin, I expected more from the Gamboa performance. He won every round. But beyond that, they say, oh, Devin Haney don't got enough pop. But the funny thing is this, wouldn't you imagine the guy who has no power or no pop or whatever they say should have looked better versus Gamboa, then why aren't people chomping at the bit to fight him? So something's not adding up with this story. You can say whatever you want about Devin Haney, but then he should be the first person up to bat, because boxing, like for example, Canelo could fight Callum Smith and he could fight Avni Yildirim. Do you really want to convince me or try to convince me that Caleb Plant, David Benavidez, Artur Beterbiev, Jermall Charlo would look as bad as Avni Yildirim will look versus Canelo or Caleb Smith? Absolutely not. So something is not accurate in boxing. Listen to what people say, study the moves, study why I'll be mad. Because at the end of the day, if Devin Haney ain't this, ain't that, and doesn't have this and doesn't have that, wouldn't you imagine the guy with quote unquote no power, everybody would be lining up to fight him? Just look at it. Oh, that's a crazy picture. That's hilarious. Shout out to young boy Dev. If somebody has no power, wouldn't everybody be wanting to fight that person? So I don't believe what they're saying about Devin Haney. I think they really rate his skills and they know he's a problem. Because again, if you didn't feel he was a problem, why wouldn't you want to fight him? When have we ever seen in boxing a non-puncher have so much trouble getting fights? There's a lot of guys who they don't necessarily have the most power and they also have no trouble getting fights. Chris Algieri, Paulie Malignaggi, like Gabe Rosado doesn't have necessarily the most power per division. These guys also don't have a problem getting the big fights. Gabe Rosado has fought all the big names, right? But Devin Haney is calling out for the big names, and you have Ryan Garcia who's saying Devin needs to fight Tio, but the WBC told you to fight Devin. Man, the Boxingego is looking real shaky with this type of stuff. And once again, Devin is owed a lot of credit because he keeps telling you he's making it about what it should be about, boxing. Teofimo, he's done recent interviews, and Teofimo is saying, oh, he's putting his demands out there, how much money he needs and things like that. Devin Haney ain't publicly negotiating saying, hey, I need $10 million. Whatever his asking price is, he's willing to discuss that behind closed doors where it should happen. So when people say a bunch of stuff like that, to me, that's kind of like publicly talking yourself out of the fight, because it's a negotiation. You got to negotiate your worth and see what happens. And for Teofimo particularly to have to argue to get more than 1.25 million versus Lomachenko, that was a unification, right? That was a unification. And to get more than 1.25, the fight almost fell apart. Devin Haney got pretty much that purse for the Santiago fight. So something's not adding up. How did Teofimo go from barely getting over $1 million and having to argue that to fight Loma, who they said was great, and they compared to Muhammad Ali, to I want $10 million to fight Devin Haney? That don't make sense. And like Devin keeps saying, everybody's saying whatever. They say everything else, but they won't fight me next. And it's hard to denounce what he's saying when you have Ryan Garcia saying Devin needs to fight this person. But the WBC, what is the point of the WBC mandating that the winner of Luke Campbell, Ryan Garcia, fight Devin Haney? And I told you this was going to be a problem. And once again, Ego Stradamus strikes again. I said another reason why I don't feel Golden Boy wanted to make Ryan Garcia Luke Campbell is because it was understood and known that the winner would have to fight Devin. And I didn't see Golden Boy wanting to make those back-to-back fights. And look at what happened. The other thing that's a contradiction from Ryan Garcia is post-fight, Ryan Garcia said, "Oh, Devin, I want to fight Tank, of course, but if not, Devin could get it, boom, boom, boom."
Devin Haney he's gonna be that opponent, of course. I want to fight him. I want to fight Tank first, of course. But it is what it is. If we can make Devin, let's make Devin. Why not? Let's go.
It was all good just a week ago, in the words of Hove, the boy Jay-Z. It was all good just a week ago. Ryan Garcia went from immediately after the Luke Campbell fight saying, "Devin, let's go. We could get it, Devin," to Devin needs to fight Tio. And now Ryan's being Devin's matchmaker. I mean, if this don't look crazy, I don't know what to tell you, bro. But like I said, Devin Haney continues to make it about boxing. He's willing to negotiate. He's not turned down any offers. He's not publicly put out his asking price. He's just trying to fight them. So I think he's owed a lot of credit. And this is what they do to black fighters. Exhibit A. It's a perpetual thing that we continue to see from old media. They'll hold Devin Haney and say, "Oh, who have you beat? Your resume is no good." But you know why his resume is, quote, no good. He's trying to get all the smoke in the world, and it's all these politics. This is what they do. They did it to Guillermo Rigondeaux when he beat Donaire. Donaire didn't want a rematch. Carl Frampton, Scott Quigg, Leo Santa Cruz. These dudes didn't want to fight Guillermo. And he got boxed out. They tried to do Errol Spence. Luckily, Errol Spence, he had a good promotion and kept looking good. So he had to keep fighting. That's why Errol Spence tells you to this day he was the boogeyman. But he keep telling you, tables turn, tables turn. So Devin Haney got to just keep it up until the tables turn for him. But it's sad to see. It's sad to see. And the other thing is Mikey Garcia, he agreed with this. I've told you. I think Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia is a better fight because of the stylistic matchup. You got a speedster with some power, and then you got Devin Haney. Some people sleep on his power, but he's overall a great boxer. Tank Davis, Ryan Garcia, if he gets touched with the same shots, he could get obliterated. So that's a fight that you could build. But once again, old media, they're not pushing for this. The same people with old media that says Sean Porter needs to petition to the WBO to make the Terrence Crawford fight are now okay with Ryan Garcia saying belts don't mean anything. And they're DAZN, they tried this on the Ryan Garcia telecast where they're basically saying, hey, don't listen to these protocols. Why does it keep happening? Why does this keep happening? Where you have people who are saying, don't listen to these protocols, people. Like, yeah, you're the mandatory, but you don't have to fight that person. And you continually see this in boxing. If Triple G's mandatory is Dominic Wade, or if his mandatory is Camille Sesmeta, those fights are made. But when his mandatory is the best person out of all the mandatories, Derevyanchenko or Charlo, Triple G don't want to fight him. It's too predictable. All these punches are telegraphed in boxing, and that's why you see the destruction of old media, because it no longer makes sense at all, and you know it. Shout out to Devin Haney. Hope he gets his big fight, but more people, I'm riding with Devin Haney because I salute the energy, and he's doing what boxing fans claim they want. He's making it all about boxing. It's all about, I want to fight this guy. It's not about, hey, this is how much money I need to get it done. He's not saying nothing like that. It is purely boxing. It's purely competition. He ain't talking about people saying, I want to see him deceased and this and that. He's talking all about boxing. I'll whoop this dude. This dude can't F with me. His jab ain't better than mine. He can't beat me. I'm the boogeyman. He's doing all boxing. So he's a model citizen when it comes to boxing. Hopefully he gets that big fight, even with the politics. He wanted to fight Loma. They franchised him out. So he just got to not get discouraged. But we riding with Devin Haney for the behavior, because there's a lot of people who's looking real scary right now in the sport of boxing. And it's funny how they do black fighters, like I continue to say, where the games, you see what's being done, and at the end of the day, they'll blame Devin Haney, call him the email champ, and call him names and stuff like that. But that's not right, because at the end of the day, he's trying to step up. He ain't trying to fight the Avni Yildirims of his division, the Caleb Smiths of his division. He's trying to fight guys that are deadly punchers like Gervonta, guys like Teofimo and Ryan Garcia. And one of the guys is actually aligned with his same platform, Ryan Garcia. So somebody got to explain. It's looking real shaky. If Devin Haney don't have a chin, don't have power, ain't a good fighter, or whatever people are saying, why is the quote unquote non-puncher going after punchers and saying, I want that smoke? Wouldn't you imagine it would be the other way around? If Devin Haney really didn't have no belief in himself, why would he be approaching guys who are on paper super deadly? Why is he stepping to them? Something's wrong with that picture, bro. So he must have an insane belief system if he's going after punchers. That's like let's say there's a bully who's 6'6" at your high school, and then you got a guy who's 5'6", and he's just going stepping to the bully, and the bully's like, man, I ain't gonna fight you, and walking away from it. And the dude that's 5'6" is like, yo, what's good? Get back here. Come here. There would be something wrong with that picture. How come this 6'6" guy who's built is seemingly avoiding the fade with the guy who's 5'6"? That's what we're seeing right before our eyes in boxing. The kid you say ain't this and that, and Devin Haney, he the one going after maximum smoke with everybody. Something's wrong with that picture, y'all. Smash the like button. We working all 2021. You dig.
So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.